Hello, welcome back. I hope you're hungry. A little more haggis. In this video, I'm fitting a loom. I'm getting cross with suppliers. it's all happening. If you like this kind of stuff, if you don't, can't turn it off, turn it down. If you want to subscribe, helps the algorithm on YouTube. Gets me a little bit more revenue from YouTube. And if you want to support the channel, there's a PayPal me link thing down here. All gifts gratefully received. Thank you so much. There is no obligation. Yeah, enjoy. Oh, that's interesting. That's loose. Tighten that up in a minute. Top bolt's loose on the door frame. Okay, passenger side footwell before we start. So, literally just scraping all of the crap out. This hole up here, that's going to be a piece of piss to fix. What I'm really doing down here is just making sure that I'm getting all of the rubbish that needs to be got. Just going to chuck that on the floor, but no, there's so much crap on the floor. I don't want to sort it out. Now, chassis rail runs along here. Okay, that sort of direction, and on top of the chassis rail runs the diesel feed and return lines, which I need to knock off the chassis, because otherwise I'm going to cut through them, and that's not sensible, is it? So there's a plate which goes about here, just forwards of the seat box, and that plate allows the seat box to rest on top of the chassis. It's an insulated plate. So I need to go and get that out. I suspect what I'm then going to do is end up cutting more or less this whole fucking chunk out. We'll see what it looks like. But before I do that, I'm going to go medieval with this fella. So let me go and get the fuel lines out of the way. That's the main thing. And a lot of this is a heat shroud here, and that's just sound deadening there, anti-drum, which needs to come off because it likes catching fire. And I don't want to be taking those sort of risks. There's all manner of screws, like this thing here. That screw there is for the plastic cap that the carpet screws down onto. Right, let's get this to tap. 1 second. Let's go and tap it. Right, now, all I'm really going to do with the tap is tap all of that soft. Yep, see that straight through. Here, this bit here, that's where one of the underfloor supports runs. It's sort of triangular, dodecahedral, whatever shape, I don't know what the shape is, that goes along here and welds to the floor and blocks off the end of the sill. Now there's actually a joint here. You see that? That is not terribly well spot welded, is it? Spot weld there. So that strikes me as weld from here to there. I think that will work. Because the floor section on the sill is good. It's just the spot weld there. That's going to be. There we are. That's on the paint under there. That's all really good. And because up against the gate post is better on this side than it was on the other side, I'm trying to cut just inboard and create a lip, a cautious lip. Who knows that reference? Yes, this up here looks like a lip, but this is all seam sealer it's all got rust underneath it. The lip actually goes that way, because that is the edge of the gearbox cover. There we go, fuel lines out and off the top of the chassis rail, and now I can start going berserk. So I'll put it on time lapse for you guys to enjoy. Oh yes. Bugger. This area's gone as well down here. You can see when I tap it, it dents it. The metal's not strong enough, it's just going to rot through. At some point over the next year it will rot through. So I need to cut that out as well. That's a pain in the balls, isn't it? And up here, you can see has rotted. Sorry, camera's strobing. Sorry, camera's strobing. Light's strobing. Let's turn the light down. There we are, it's probably better. No, it's still strobing, never mind. Over here, I went over all of that. There's a couple of kind of pot marks there, a couple here, but overall the steel is pretty strong. It's going to cope with it. There's no problem at all back here. This is all okay. This is all okay. That bit there is bad, and obviously that bit. Now, this is the piece that I cut out, just in case you're thinking, Richard, you've gone fucking berserk there, boy. That's as it sat in the footwell, that way round, okay? So the bulkhead slide goes there. This is the area that I first saw the rot, and this is the bit that goes on top of that cross member. There's rot here, put the torch behind it. You see the rot then? Yeah, look at that lot. That's all holes. And while this piece in the middle here was quite solid, to be honest, if I'm welding, I might as well just weld in a whole new chunk of steel. Now, looking underneath this, you can see this is very clearly rotted from the inside to the outside. As here we've got, this is where under seal's flaked off, and you can see there's just a tiny rust hole there. But all of this is quite clean here, this metal. And that's a natural line there between the footwell and the floor pan for some reason. Yes. That piece, just in case you're wondering, that's the bracket for the front mudguard. I haven't got front mudguards on this, I might just see if I can get the bracket off. I've probably still got the other one as well from the other side. Yeah, if I can get the mudguard off, I might be able to use it. Again, you never know. Right, got this piece welded in, got this piece welded in, got that piece welded in. And then kind of run out of time really, because I don't want to be sitting around here till 9 o'clock at night. So I'm going to do these bits tomorrow, that bit up there and this bit down here, then I'll finish with the welder. And I can put the fuel lines back in because we had a little bit of a fuel spill. Silly arse. I know. Good Lord. Right. Bit of seam sealer needed in there. We finally finished welding this car. It's taken a little bit longer than perhaps I anticipated. It's cooling down nicely now. I just need to just take some of the odds and sods off the welds, but this is all covered in underlay anyway. Good old seam sealer once I've painted it. There we go. Floor is done. Get on with putting the loom back in it now, but not today, it's Saturday. Yes. Almost watertight again. It'll do, won't it? It'll do. Marvellous. Today is Loom Day. So all of this shambles here is actually the complete bulkhead and front end loom for this car. It's come from an exact age date matched car and with the same spec as well, i.e. no ABS, no aircon and diesel. There is a little bit of extra supplementary wiring on this thing. That's all standard, I think. That's the engine connector there. Where's all the extra shit? There's a load of shit here. A world of Scotch blocks. Look at them all in here. Love them. So my thing here really is to get this all stripped down. While there's a column on this, for some reason the column has managed to pull itself right out and disappeared up inside there. So I'll take this column off. We'll use the original column that came with the car, because I know that's serviceable. This bit I need, because that's different, left-hand drive to right-hand drive. And that's the steering column support bracket that goes between the dash and the pedal box hole here. Right. So I think what I'll do really is just get the loom free of that, then I can start to manoeuvre it around and start to go through and just double check what is what. Now, the good news is the majority of this loom is completely and utterly unmolested, which is great news. I love it when you find a loom like this. However, you've got all of this extra wiring here. I don't know what it's for. I've got no idea. Some sort of alarm or immobilizer, I guess. I don't know. Whatever that is. It's got a guarantee October 1988. Pretty much when the car was built. So the donor car, I think, was 1990. There you go. Everything was working on this loom as well, by the way, prior to it being removed from its donor, which was terminally rusty. There's no shame in breaking a terminally rusty car. So basically, yeah, it's just a case of unpicking now, understanding where the stuff needs to go to, and then fitting it into the bulkhead. Should be fairly straightforward, shouldn't it? Once the loom's in, then I can connect up a battery. We can start to test voltages at things like indicators, headlights, rear lights, and so forth. All of the dash can't go in completely yet because I've still got the heater to refurb. I still haven't got a turbo, so I won't be able to start the engine up. The turbo's been received by the Midland Turbo guys, and they've just confirmed it's a shaft and a refurb that's needed. Fairly straightforward job. The breather pipe that was connected up here, that was just dangling down through the engine mount over there, should go straight back to the air filter. The problem we've got with the breather pipe is it looks like that. So I don't know if this engine is breathing especially heavily or not. We'll find out. I've not actually really had, I've not done any diagnosis on the engine yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It could just be a half decent service. Gets this thing going again. We'll see. We'll see. Right, okay, I'm going to crack on with the loom now. I shall report back. Well, it wasn't too bad actually. So 90% of the loom's gone in without any problems at all. I managed to get all the connectors together, no problems at all. Where the Scotch blocks are, luckily they haven't cut the original wires, so it just needs some, I've left the Scotch blocks on there for now, because I want to make sure I insulate each of these wires properly. It's going to need some heat shrink or some decent insulating tape, which I haven't got here right now, because everything's in pissing Devon. MPH speedo module is up there on the dash. The only equal problem I've got on this car is clearly a crossover car, because while the driver's side of the right hand rear loom connector fits beautifully, left hand side doesn't. So this is the newer style connector that's fitted kind of to my car. It's got flat blades. The original loom on this car was flat blades, and the new loom is bullets. So I've got the side loom. I've got two options now, because in order to fit the side loom you kind of got to disassemble the whole back end of the car. What I'm probably going to end up doing here is finding the connector. There he is. That's the connector I want, I think. Is that the one? Yes, it is the one. That's the connector I need. Oh, it's not in the greatest shape actually, in all honesty, is it? But we're talking about 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 splices, rot connectors, which I can do. I might be inclined actually just to chop that connector off, or see if I've got another connector in the workshop in Devon that I can chop off. In the meantime, I'll leave this connected. I'll leave my options open. I don't have to do that right now because I can just connect up the rear light unit straight to it. But as you can see, we've got rear light units, we've got tailgate lights, we've got blanks for something, probably rear fog lights. It's all there. It's a bit of a faff really, that. It's funny how the Loom, this Loom, I think it was a 1990 car it came from. This is a 1991 car. Maybe it was a 91 car it came from, because that is definitely the later style connector with the spades in it. You can see the flat spade connectors, and this one that it fits onto, the original one, is all bullets. I can't get it apart now. There we are, bullets. There you go. I'll have a think about it. If the wire colours match up, I might be inclined just to chop it off and splice it. I'm going to have a cup of coffee and I'll have to think about that. If the wire colours don't match up, then I will fit that complete chunk all the way to the back, underneath the floor. Pain in the arse, but might as well do it properly, The rest of it is very, 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 I mean, ignore this piece here. On these cars without any options, you've literally got the fuse box goes on the passenger side. These bits here, that's for the heater lights. That's for the, sorry, these bits here are for all of the switches, 6 switches on the dash. This bit is for the rear windows and the clock. That one there, I guess, is if you've then got options to go down the transmission tunnel to the under driver's seat fuse box, but there isn't one on this car. All of this stuff here is to do with the electric windows. That's all it is. Electric windows, actually, no, I'm going to change my mind on that. Electric windows and rear doors, because this car has, this Loom came from a four-wheel drive, sorry, four-door four-wheel drive. I'll put my teeth in, shan't I? Shall I put my teeth in? Yeah, this Loom came from a four-door car. It's not too much of an issue. I'll just kind of ignore the wires that we don't need. The 2 relays are actually for the lights. The only thing I haven't got yet, or not been able to find yet, is the glow plug wire. This is all the stuff that comes through the bulkhead where I would have expected it to be, and it ain't there. There's that big old connector there, and I'm just trying to find the actual glow plug wiring and see if that connector just bolts onto it. There's the engine connector, or one of the engine connectors, that goes on there. For some reason it's caught on that. There we are, that's one of the engine connectors. The glow plug wires go to over there, you see. It needs to go onto that ring there, so I'd expect a nice big ring terminal somewhere. I've got to find out where that is from the old Loom. All of the wiring for the headlights, the little kind of temperature sensor thing there, that's all in place, that's no problem at all. There's a few delete options on here. I think that one there is for the brake fluid level. That's the other engine connector, Loom connector, which is here. That goes on there. You can see the same number of pins. That's all lovely. So that's gearbox, and I think that's gearbox and starter solenoid. I'll put that together properly in a second. So yeah, so far that Loom is kind of, apart from one connector, that Loom is kind of popped together. As far as all the power into the circuit goes, I've got all of these ring connectors here, which go on to the other side of this power post. So I'll need to connect all those up. 2 batteries back in, and then we'll see what electrics work and what don't. In the meantime, I'm going to look up the circuitry, see if I can find the original part, because I had the dashboard piece, didn't I? What did I do with the Loom? That's door looms. It would have been on this side of the Loom. So what have we got? There it is. Is that it? No, that's not it. But that is the relay. That's the relay I need. I might have to salvage that from this Loom. I'll double check what it is I've got and what it is that's going wrong here, and take that piece off. I'm surprised it wasn't on the Loom as I bought it. I'm sure we'll be able to work something out. It's that one. No, not that one. That one. The one with the big black and yellow wire that comes off the back of it. Glow plug relay. The other one is for the headlamp wash, by the way. And that one's got a green and red on it, because the headlamp wash is not even connected on this. There's nothing there. Yeah, green and red. So that's headlamp wash. And the idea is that comes on. If the headlights are on, it will wash the headlights. It's just a funny little relay thing that goes in there. But as the rest of it is not there, I don't know what we're going to do. So I'll figure out what needs to happen about the glow plugs, and then I can put that panel in. Getting ready to put these indicator units back in and the headlights. But what I've basically been doing here, because this thing is so clean, I don't know if you can see that even, but I've been going over it. Probably look better at the battery box here. There's a fair amount of kind of surface crap on this. If we look, there's my chisel. Have a look at this stuff here. It's just like sand or dirt. I think it's been doing a little bit of weight in this car. So I'm scraping all that crap off, give it a quick wash down, and then I'm using a Dynex S50 over the surface. It's not the be-all and end-all as far as rust protection on this car is concerned, but it's going to help it through this winter. Strongly suggest that this customer takes his car along and gets like a complete end-to-end rust treatment done on it, because it would be a shame if this thing started rotting out, because it is really kind of, you know, spectacular. These inner wings are like new. Absolutely incredible. Right, so a little bit of Dynex in there. Put all the lights back in again. There we go. Interestingly, it's the same colour as the body. It just needs to do a little bit more in there, but on the whole, it's kind of just given all the kind of key areas where it's gonna go a bit odd. You see, it started to dry already. Where it's going to rot, which is really at the base of the indicator unit, base the headlight unit, and underneath the battery box, the key areas where these things rot. And by kind of putting all that lot in there, it's hopefully going to stave it off for a little bit. There you go. That's that then, isn't it? Right, let's put these light units back in. Okay, this thing, glow plug relay, is fairly straightforward. That connector and that connector, exactly the same number of wires. Obviously the the black, the yellow wire goes straight over to the engine over there somewhere, but the rest of it I'm just going to butt splice together, because I haven't got one of these connectors, I don't believe. Headlight relay is all in place, just there's no headlight washers or anything like that on there, so I'm not bothered about that. The connector for the back end of the loom, what I'm going to do here is chop this off. I'm going to go to the back end of the car before I do that, just to confirm that there's no issues with this, and make sure that any splices are below the dash, not above the dash, otherwise the trim won't fit back on there. That will fix that problem. I'm pretty sure I have got another loom back in the barn in Devon, but this is the loom that was provided with the car, is somewhat challenged, is it not? There was some challenges on it, I'm sure there were some challenges on it. So many bloody wires on it. That's the complete thing. As it's a complete loom, I don't really want to start hacking it around, so I'm not going to. Headlights, well, one headlight's in. The reason the other headlight is in, because someone's used the wrong screws on it, so I'm going to sort that out. Interestingly, this side's been under quite a lot of sandy water, which explains why this side was worse on the salt and the shit than the other side was. I suspect this side has been wading quite deep. But anyway, it's all kind of sorted out in there now. What else have we been doing? Servos in, I can start routing the brake lines through. The rear washer, so because the washer bottom's on this side, the pipe is also on this side, which means it also goes up the windscreen rail and it goes right the way to the back of the car, and I really don't want to be taking the headlining out in order to move it across to the other side, so I shall just get some extra pipe and run it across the bulkhead or underneath the deck or something. I'll run it somewhere that it can be discreet and out of the way to the washer bottom, which is going to go down over there. You see the wiper rack is in. That went in, no problems at all. I did have an issue over here though. And when I took because I did actually start fiddling around with the spring. As you can see, I've taken the spring to balance you up there. I've taken the spring off this side because this hinge, well, that ain't much cop, is it? That's going to go very, very, very soon. There's not a lot on that still, so I'm going to undo. Don't want to rest on the screen. Undo these two bolts here, take the whole hinge off, see if I can sort that out. Otherwise, I'll just get another second-hand hinge. Nicely, this Dynex stuff is sort of a brown colour when it goes on, so it kind of blends in quite nicely with the Cairngorm brown colour. What else have I been up to? Pedal box is in and all connected up. I've got the steering column in and connected up. The only thing I haven't done is the column controls. I'll get those on this afternoon. I also need to shift this handbrake across, so that's actually going to be relatively straightforward, I think, because all I need to do is pull the clip off here. It's coming off, one-handed. There he is. That clip comes off. Pin comes out. Handbrake go up. Now I can take off this. I think the whole handbrake cable, then I'll be able to kind of move it. We'll have a look, see what happens with it. It might be that this piece here needs to come off the back of the drum first of all, which will be a bit of a faff, but we'll sort something out with it, because I want the handbrake on this side. And then still waiting for the paint. DHL, not very fucking good, chaps. Really isn't. This is the 4th day. I really think that kind of, taking the piss a little bit. And we're going around collecting all the bits together ready to go back on the car. I've got a big bundle of crap wiring over there. That's all the dash that's going to go in. Headlights. Oh, yeah, that was the thing. Headlights. These headlights. You can't get H4 headlights these days without the side light bulb in there. Now I haven't got any of my wiring kit here at the moment, but I'll see if I can perhaps get that sorted out. It's easy enough to take these two units out and put a wire through, splice it on without using Scotch blocks. And then I've been waiting for an order to come in to sort the steering box out, which is over here. So I'm going to use the steering box and give it a good clean up, and I'm happy with it. So I'm just going to change the ball joint on it. I can mount that up, then I can put the power steering pump on. There's an awful lot of stuff for the VM that is obsolete. So for instance, stupid things like I've got the part number, but I cannot find a water pump gasket. I'm going to end up having to cut one out. Water pump's available with the gasket. The 2 heater pipes, this is the music one. So 2 heater pipes, and one of them is actually quite long, as you can see here. 2 heater pipes, unobtainium. Absolutely unobtainium. No chance. For a car that was manufactured in 1991, that's not great, is it? But it wasn't actually in service for very long, was it, the VM? There's another couple of bits and bobs that I've struggled to get hold of as well. So there's hoses, speedo cable. There's another one. I've got the old speedo cable, but of course it was a short one because it came from over there to here. New one's going to come from over there to over here. Now I've got a feeling just the automatic V8 speedo cable will do the job, but I just need to compare the ends to my car. I've got no idea why the fuel pump's been disabled. I need to look under the boot floor to find out if we've got an electric pump in the car. If we've got an electric drop-in pump, it's a plastic tank, then that will solve that problem for me. Vacuum pipes, heater hoses. There's a little stubby hose here. That's the other one that's unobtainium. Goes onto the bottom of the thermostat. And this one is properly, I mean, look at the state of this thing when it comes off. That really has seen some action, hasn't it? I'll probably just be able to get, listen to it, I mean, honestly. Yeah, just get a straight piece of hose to replace that with. Put that back on there for now in case I lose it. There's other little heater hoses, things like that. The coolant hose. I'll just replace this with bog standard, whatever that is, 8mm internal diameter. It might be 10mm internal diameter. I'll find out what it is. Just replace it with the silicone hose. It comes around here and goes down to there. And there's another little stub that goes from there up to there. This is just normal silicone hose should do this. It's thick enough walled that it shouldn't collapse. Because I just don't think that these old hoses are any good whatsoever. Still haven't really done it. I need to get the turbo back so I can actually do a test on this engine and find out how heavily it's breathing before we get too far down the line. But obviously the right-hand drive conversion is probably about, what are we? I've got to still do this hub, waiting for parts. The other hub I'm waiting for parts. Discs, there's no point in putting the hub on until I've got the discs. It's all there waiting, ready for the disc. Oh, this is a piece of extra wiring I found as well. I was trying to work out what the fuck this all was, and I've got a feeling this might have been, I don't know, headlight relay, electric fans. I don't know. It came off the donor car, so whatever it was on the donor car, this was attached to. It's fused. It's got a relay. It's got some fairly chunky wires going to it. A brown feed direct from the battery. I suspect that was probably for a electric fan.